guys, and welcome back to an episode of All Around So Rare. And today we have a very special episode indeed. We have the MLS God himself, SorareDeke. How are we, buddy? How are we?
Man, I feel great. Definitely not a god, just an avid follower, I would call it.
Yeah. I think because I go to you for everything MLS. So I think to me then, you're a god in MLS. But Jonesy, what about you? You good?
Do you say am I a god or am I good?
No, you're definitely not a god. But are you good?
Yeah, I'm alright. I'm okay. I mean, you did call me the god of rares the other day, so you know.
The go-to rares, but you know, it's a bit different.
Yeah, maybe then. Yeah, I'm good. I'm really happy to have Deke on. We spoke about a year ago. We started speaking about a year ago. Me and Deke, so I'm really excited to have him on the pod. His knowledge of the MLS is so vast.
Yeah, definitely. So let's crack into it straight away, eh? So let's go into the basics. Let's go to the start. As I ask every guest, like, how did you get into So Rare, and what sort of attracted you to the platform itself?
Wow, yeah. The start, I wish I would have gotten in earlier, obviously. So I came in, let's see, about COVID.
Okay.
The US government gave us a stimulus, and my buddies are big crypto guys. They have been forever, so I threw it into Bitcoin. Bitcoin was like 4K at the time, and kind of got in, and I was like, yeah, why not? Like, this isn't my money. So I kind of got my foot into like the crypto world in there. And then I got into some like Zed Run, if you ever heard of that. Some different, like, it was like a horse racing game, different games, which is always what I've been trying to look for. And I got into the NFT market a little bit whenever it was kind of going crazy. You mint something and then you just flip it. Made 0 cents. So I did that for a while. And then I finally found Sorare, and I actually, found something I liked doing, which I was kind of drawn to the platform. I joined, and I actually I got a new phone, and I didn't have my like recovery or whatever it was, so I got locked out of my account in like 6 months. I didn't worry about it, and then I'm like, oh, I forgot about this game. So I came back, and then prices were at all-time high, which is great, and I got in the limited market, and you're paying an arm and a leg for the limiteds, and the rest is history.
Yeah, wow, crazy. Yeah, it's a bit different to other people. Like the other people we've spoken to have been in since pretty much day dot, and it's always been. I know I'm the same. I was always Football Index initially, which obviously, I luckily for me, I took out all my money at the time, so which was good. And then I came into So Rare, and it was just. I did very similar to you, to be fair. I came into So Rare and I just left it for 6 months, and then I came back to it. It was like, this is actually a lot better than I thought it was, and then I just cracked on with it then. So, what about you, Jonesy? I can't actually remember your story, how you got into it. I've asked you so many times.
Yeah, I went in like the Korean and J League near the end of the season. It was like a March time that I joined, and the prices completely dropped massively after I joined. It was about, I think it was March 2021 or 2022, 2021. No, I think it's 2022. Yeah, the prices, as soon as I bought in, the prices just went boom. They changed Cap 240. You could put anybody into Cap 240 at that point. It wasn't capped, and then they changed it. Prices started to drop. They changed it again, and prices just went to the floor. Yeah, it was good, but I think mine might have joined a bit too late as well.
Well, it's like what you said anyway. Like the platform's changed so much, and I wanted to get your take, Deke, on the new update. Obviously, it's happening, 29th of March or 28th? I can't ever remember. But obviously, with the new divisions and stuff, what's your overall take on the whole update?
Yeah, I mean, we've finally had some time to like really. There's a lot of knee-jerk reaction at first. I get it from like a financial standpoint. They need to do this. I don't think a lot of people are kind of saying like. They kind of need to do this, it seems like, to pay back for, all the licenses they get, things like that. They want to be financially stable, and the new user stuff just hasn't worked flat out. And honestly, I think they need, us to pay for the bill. And the strategy, I get it. As I've had more time, I kind of am excited. Like it's a new game, right?
Yeah.
Completely new. I'm buying some Philadelphia Union players on auction. I told myself I wouldn't, and here I'm going after one of. So whatever they did, they just keep reeling me in. So I'm probably the problem because I keep buying into it. But I'm kind of looking forward to it. As far as my gallery, I have a lot of MLS, I have a lot of Belgium, and I have a lot of Netherlands. So they're all in the same group. So I'm pretty set for that. And then it's just like the top tier competitions, I just don't think I'm going to play in.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not going to play in Champion?
I just don't have the gallery. So right now I have like a Doku, a couple players, but not like a team that I'd feel comfortable with. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to sell those guys, here. I say that I'm going to sell them, but we'll see if I actually sell them. But I'm going to sell these guys and then, reinvest maybe elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I've basically dedicated myself to Contender and what's the one called? Is it Challenger? Contender and Challenger?
Yeah.
For the upcoming seasons. But we'll see how it goes. Obviously, the more you make back, the more you can move into Champion, or I'll go on your own journey. But I know you're heavily into your under 23 cards.
I am.
Every time I see you win a reward on Twitter, it's always under 23 smash this week.
Yeah. So I'm hoping, we'll see how this goes, but I'm hoping that the rewards that I can earn in the under 23, since I do kind of play that a lot, will kind of yield some of those guys that either I can sell from like the Prem or, even like tier 2s, tier 3s. Like if I can just, bang out a few of those, I feel like it can help me elsewhere. And especially, I think everything's going to change if you get like a nice card that you don't want to sell that's in one of these divisions and it's a new card. Yeah. It might kind of twist your arm to do some different things. But yeah, under 23, being able to put 3 lineups in there is really interesting.
Yeah.
And I've been kicking around, I don't know what I'm going to prioritize. It's going to be, I think, if you have new season cards, that's going to be the priority. And then I have no idea what I'm going to do after that.
Yeah, still planning, aren't we, really? I kind of got my gallery set now. Cat's been helping my gallery. I've been trying to help him with his. But yeah, that startnet tokens came in and saved your life, didn't it, Cap? And then we just started building as much as we can. Those startnet. Did you get a startnet like token thing that went out to everybody? Did you?
I'm from the United States, so they unless you VPN in, and I have not done that. If anyone's watching,
it's definitely worth it. Buy your couple of cards, a couple of nice cards.
I know that'd be great to have. I could really use that for some of these auctions that are kicking off here.
Exactly. Yeah, that was something. Now you said the auctions. That was something I was going to speak about. The prices of the limiteds in these new MLS auctions that I saw for the 1 of 100s are ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
They're crazy.
I saw the other day, I was trying to go for a one of Reynoso in limited because I really rate the player. I really think he's just stupidly good for the league. But I bidded on him for about 30 quid. I think he only went for 32 in the end, which was actually, I think, relatively cheap for a one-off, because considering he's like, I think about 14 quid unlimited. I don't know what that is in dollars, probably like $17, $18. Yeah. But yeah, then I saw was it Rusnak of Seattle? His card usually goes for £5, $8, and he went for, I think, £50 for one off, and I'm like, what the? That's absolutely crazy. So then you saw Messi was near enough, probably $200-$300. So yeah, it's absolutely wild. But I don't know if you're watching, but Nepenthes did a video the other day about the new MLS cards and how actually it is quite important to maybe get these sort of like one-offs, because then as soon as you get them, you obviously get the XP with them, but you also get to build them up quicker and earlier, and to build a collection with them. So it all, I guess, makes sense. But yeah, it's quite crazy, isn't it? The prices. Have you paid over the thumb for any of your Philly players or anything like that yet?
So yeah, I'll give away my strategy. So here's what I'm doing. The big cards, I'm not getting the one-ofs. So your Kai Wagner, your Andre Blake. I'm gonna wait like a couple weeks and then pick up the players that actually play. What I'm doing right now is kind of picking off those $40 to $50 guys. They had a rookie, Sanders Nagabo, or however you say it. He's a rookie, so that gives me, I have the one of, I think I paid like $28, which for the collection value, that is huge because he got me, I think, 80 right off the bat. And then if I have him for 90 days, that's 90 from one guy. So I mean, that XP is kind of crazy, but the only downfall of what I'm doing is I can't build up those guys that I actually want to build up right away. I'm actually doing the kind of behind the scenes. I'm trying to get that 5% extra, but I plan on buying those guys, like getting my team. So my team would be Blake, Wagner, Gazdag, Carranza, and then probably Jack McGlynn. So those guys, I'm probably waiting until, maybe 2 weeks from now, try and get maybe the 7th or 8th one, and hopefully prices are down a little bit from there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think keeping an eye out, especially on kit mints as well, eventually when this hype does cool down a bit, when you get, players like number 30, 35, those sort of higher numbers, then keeping an eye out for that as well, that you could potentially snipe or take hold of from bots. But I've got a couple of questions anyway from Ellis, because obviously he is not here, if no one's noticed. But he wanted me to ask you a couple of questions, so I'm gonna pop these to you now. So his first question was, what do you reckon is the best value MLS stack in season?
All right, best value stack.
Yeah.
This is kind of not going to play out right now, but to be honest, we talked about Rusnak going for that much, but Seattle is relatively cheap for how good they are, except all the guys you'd have in your stack are hurt right now. So Stephen Fry is pretty cheap. Yamar's a little bit more expensive for a D. Rusnak. And then, you could go Jordan Morris or something like that. But they're cheap enough, and they're one of the best teams in the West. So as far as scores, they score well enough. And maybe if you can get a bargain since they're hurt, it's not the worst. I was a big Rusnak guy coming into the season. Him playing in a number 10 role instead of, more of an 8 role is pretty big. So I think he's going to have a lot of decisives. And then you have Christian Roldan, who isn't that expensive. Alex Roldan, a lot of these guys who score pretty well, and if you can kind of mix and match, and if I would do a limited collection, it'd probably be Seattle, just because all of these guys are really good.
Yeah, no, they are decent.
Because I have a full Seattle collection. They are all season, but I've got the Rusnak. I've been waiting for these guys to come back. So I'm excited about that. But the injuries are killing me at the moment. I don't have a clue who's going to play. I don't know who's going to play centre half either, because he signed, was it Nathan?
Yeah, and then he's in Brazil getting his green card. So, Arriaga probably. Or maybe John Bell can play as well.
Yeah. It's a tricky situation at the moment in Seattle.
Well, I was going to say, because me and Jonesy, when we were speaking off air about a week or so ago, before the start of the MLS season anyway, we actually had a little bet. I don't know if he actually remembers, but he actually thought Rusnak was going to have, or Rosnak, whatever his name is. I can't pronounce stuff. So Rusnak and Reynoso, and he said he's going to have a better season than Reynoso, more goals and assists. And I obviously countered that, and I said, no, it's not going to happen. So I don't know what we put on the line in the end, Jonesy, or if you bottled it and didn't want to do it in the end. But that's what I personally think. Reynoso is going to have a better season than him. But who knows? But we'll move on, shall we? Just to save him going red. Your top 3 MLS players to break out this season.
Break out. Oh,
Yeah.
That's...
Now that can be. Can that be either? I'm sort of interpreting it. Could it be youth? I don't know if I should have probably asked them, but if it's youth, or is this going to be a player that's sort of gone under the radar and is going to have an actual really good season? I'll leave that up to you to interpret. But yeah, top 3.
Yeah,
right. Either way, one guy. So if I did start working in a RotoWire and did a MLS season preview, and I kind of went through a lot of breakout guys. Some of them, for example, some of these teams, they don't really have a breakout guy that really you can see coming up. There's not really that kind of craziness or anything like that. Asmir Baraktarovic from New England, if you watch him play, he has all the tools. And with Carlos Hill maybe not playing this week, and he's getting into a role already. Nacho Hill is the other one that he's like kind of on the right side going with. Since New England has these injuries with like Dylan Barrero and these guys are still out, he has a ton of upside. In like 45 minutes in the midweek, he had the most chances created. I think it was like 3 chances created. He has like 2 nutmegs a game. He's flashy, and he played for the U.S. team in the Under-20 World Cup, and then kind of just build off that. And he's really, really a guy that I did buy his card, so full transparency there. I think he can make that next step and kind of come out of nowhere, because he played a little bit last year, but other than that, he was just like a sub. I have to hand it to the Revs. They have some really nice pieces that are young players that are coming up through. Second one has got to be Quinn Sullivan from Philadelphia. Recency bias for sure, but I do watch him play. He has been amazing on the ball. He's playing in a more natural position. Last year he played striker because they needed like an extra guy, where this year they brought in some reinforcements. So he's playing like the right side of that diamond that they play in that midfield, and he's getting up and down. I mean, he had a goal and assist last match. He has just been unbelievable, and he's just kind of like the spark plug. He's playing the position that Alejandro Bedoya played, and like they are complete polar opposites of players, but it works. And then you got Jack McGlynn on the other side of that diamond, and it's really exciting to see those guys. But Jack's more of an established guy. Third guy, let's see who could break out. I was going to say from San Jose, Nico Sikaris, or however you say it, Tsakiris. But he's injured to start the season, and with the Carlos Vela coming in possibly, he could play the right. Espinoza could play the 10. Then you got a Bobasay up top, and then Amadou, or however you say it, Pellegrino coming in from Bodo Glimt. That top 4 is really nice. So one of those underrated, we were talking about underrated, San Jose is kind of like a team that they're a sneaky good stack, especially at home, because you have like Daniel in goal and Rodriguez as a center back you can pair together. They're pretty expensive, but they have a lot of pieces that are actually pretty nice.
Yeah. What was your take on Vela potentially going to San Jose?
I'm surprised. I just thought LAFC was it. I mean, I saw like pictures of him snowboarding in Colorado. Like, he wasn't really worried. So I just figured like, yeah, he's going to take a little time for his family, and then he's going to come back to LAFC because, I mean, they have the role open for him, even though he'd rather play on the right than as a striker. It was there. And whenever San Jose came out, I'm just like, whoa, I did not see that coming.
Yeah. And do you think he can replicate of old form? Or do you think it's sort of past his best now?
I think he's past his best, but as far as who he's playing with there, I think he'll team up pretty well. And if he can get like 60 minutes out of him, 60, 70 minutes, he's going to be better than any replacement that they possibly could have had there. Like Benji Kikanovic is playing on the left side. Like, it takes him out of the starting lineup. Then he only has to play like, 20 to 30 minutes. It just instantly makes that team a lot better.
Love it, yeah. But like you said, that trio of Espinoza, Ebobisi, and Vela, I think is going to be a really killer little attacking stack right there. I really enjoy that, and they're quite cheap as well, especially Espinoza. I think he's really undervalued. I don't know what you like in rare, but I know in limited he's actually quite cheap. So yeah, really solid.
Yeah,
but
and he's coming off like a -9 AA game last match to start the season. It was terrible.
Yeah, no, I did see that. Anyway, I've got the last question for you here from Ellis, and it is going to be, if you had an unlimited budget, what would be your best SO5 MLS team for the year?
That's a great question for sure. I mean, wouldn't it be nice to have an unlimited budget and just, be able to pick apart this team?
Yeah.
Goalkeeper, as far as the MLS, home is so big that like it can change every time. But if you're getting just one team, you got to look at the defensive position, and Kai Wagner is the guy as far as defenders in the league. So I would pair him. I like to pair goalie defender combos. I would pair him with Andre Blake. There might be a little bit of Philly bias there. because I support them. But Kai Wagner is the best defender in the league as far as SO5 scoring. He's on set pieces. He just kind of does it all. At midfield, you can pick from, I mean, literally anyone. There's so many good midfields in the league. As far as, my favorite has to be Carl's Hill. I think he just does so much, and his upside is just tremendous. You can go a lot of different places there. And then forward, I like Denny Bouanga. He just, he's going to score probably the most goals in the league or close to that. As long as he's in LAFC, I really like what he does, and he would have to be on there for me. And then that other position, I think you got to go midfield again, just because there's so many good options. And I know Cincy's a different team, but probably go Lucho Acosta just because he is the focal point of that team and he does kind of everything. But kind of my honorable mention, I love Ricky Puig, and I think he's going to have a huge year, especially adding Joseph Paintsil, and they've Gabriel Peck on the other side. Whenever he's kind of integrated in the team, they have a lot to look for. So he would be my honorable mention. But yeah, that'd be great to have no budget, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's what a team that would be. That would get you a good yield, wouldn't it? But what I thought we could do also, so we just jump into it. I've got in front of me my screen, so I'm going to be sharing that with you guys in a second. And basically, we're going to go through a tier list of the clubs in the MLS, and we're going to go from winners, contenders, mid-table, not good, and just downright poo. So we're going to go through each one of those, and let's get into that bit. So we've got winners, playoff contenders, bubble playoffs, mid-table, and wooden spoon. So we are just going to go from back to front in regards to, I think they're all alphabetical, it looks like. So we will go with Atlanta United. Where are we thinking, guys, that we're going to be putting it? Obviously, Deke, you get pretty much the first say in it, considering you are
sure. All right.
A lot more knowledgeable.
But with the MLS, there's so much that can happen in a season, and like some of these teams can turn out to be terrible. They can go right to the poo section, right? Atlanta, it all hinges on Almada. He's probably going to leave in the summer, but I think they've done enough to bring enough in. And if they sell him, I think they're going to get somebody back in. I think they're in the winners. I think they can make a run at it. Ooh. I think they have the upside to do it. I think they can be in the winners category. The upside's there, but they could also lose in the first round. So I don't know. You guys can talk me off that ledge, but
I'm just trying to think, do you think they're going to get a new goalie in, or do you think they're going to stick with Guzan?
They have Josh Cohen, so he's going to take over whenever Guzan, ultimately either gets hurt or, is terrible.
Yeah, because
Guzan's definitely the star, right, still, and then whenever something happens to him, he's done.
Right, okay. So, I, to be honest with you, I don't know a lot about Atlanta. I just know there's a couple of players like Brooks Lennon, I think it's half decent. Like you said, Thiago. Who have they got up front? Oh, yeah, Giamakis. Giamakis is quite good.
The only player for the wing from Turkey. I can't remember his name. It's Lob something.
Saba, yeah.
Saba, yeah.
Any decent midfielders? Bar the obvious.
Yeah, I mean, they've gotten better. They have Dax McCarty as a backup. Bartosz Sliz.
Isn't he like 50 years old, Dax?
Portland. Oh, yeah. He's frail.
He was good in that 240 last season. Some games you could expect 70, 80 from him, and then somebody get like he was good, though.
Well, okay, let's leave it with that then, yeah? So we can leave him on winners, and we will maybe move him later. Just depends. See how it goes. We've got next here, Austin. Where are we putting Austin? Jurissi's not that good anymore.
After one week, they're the only home team to lose in match day one of the MLS. God. So, yeah, they look terrible, to be fair. I think you got to put them in that wooden spoon category, honestly, until I see more. But you could say mid-table, but, man, they just look terrible.
I like the idea of putting them in the wooden spoon.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
All right, we'll go wooden spoon and we can elaborate on it all later then. How about Charlotte then? Obviously, you got the new manager, Dean Smith, obviously Premier League pedigree on him. What are we thinking there? Because they did win the first game of the season, which is good. So what are we thinking then, Deke?
Yeah, I'm really interested in this weekend. They got to make the cross-country trip to Vancouver, even spanning another country, up to Vancouver. And I think we're going to see the real Charlotte. Them losing Swiderski, they have a lot of holes. I know they said that they're going to make some summer signings. I don't think they're very good, in all honesty. But, either mid-table or wooden spoon, I'm fine with either or. Even though they won their first match, but I'm not very high on Charlotte.
I like a couple of Charlotte players. I like Capetti and Westwood. But yeah, I'm going to say mid-table, so.
Mid-table, yeah, I like mid-table.
Mid-table.
Kerwin Vargas is good as well. He missed a penalty first match, but his upside's good.
What's that striker like? Is it Capetti? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Capetti. Is he any good or is he a bit meh?
He's been hurt. Last year he's hurt. The productivity hasn't really been there, but he was brought in to be like the guy.
Yeah.
And it just hasn't happened yet.
Okay, and then we got Chicago Fire. I like the idea of is it Kuipers from Genk or Gent, whichever one it was. I think he could do quite well. So, what was your take on that one?
They retold completely. They got Kellen Acosta in the midfield as well. They did tie Philadelphia, and Philadelphia had to have a late winner. Kind of one of those under the radar breakouts is Brian Gutierrez that we talked about earlier. And I think this team just does Shaqiri care? I think it really comes down to that, which he just doesn't ever look like he cares. I think they're definitely a playoff contender, but I don't know if they're, contending for anything above just a playoff spot. So I would probably put them bubble playoffs because they're not one of the contenders, the top end contenders that are kind of there, but they're a good team. Much better.
Yeah, I like that. They've made some good signings as well. Obviously, Kuipers, we know from being playing so rare that guy's.
Exactly.
I think him and Shaqiri together, like you said, if Shaqiri actually pulls his finger out, and does what we know he can do, then those two can be a very lethal combo. So, and is it? I can't remember the goalie's name. The young guy, something Brad or Chris Brad or Brady or something like that. I can't remember his name. Chris Brady. There we go. See, doing all right. Yeah. I love this team. Cincinnati. For me, they either or, right? So where we thinking?
I'm laughing at D just said wooden spoon now.
That was like 2 years ago. Yeah. Right? You love this team? Okay, let's go wooden spoon. The turnover is pretty significant. As far as Barreal didn't want to be there anymore. He got a loan to Brazil. That was he didn't want to be there that much. He couldn't play half a year. That's kind of crazy. But Acosta's there. Bupenza's going to be solid. They picked up Corey Baird. I don't know what you guys think about Corey Baird, but I kind of hate Corey Baird. I just don't think he's very good. But that's just me.
Well, that's an interesting one because Kat told me to buy Corey Baird about 2 months ago when he got his transfer. So I did buy one and I sold him.
In my defence, right, he did really well prior. Okay, he had some good goals last season, right, and he's in a better attacking team, isn't he? Just a better team all round. So. Sure. And he's got Acosta behind him. What can you do? It's like having Kevin De Bruyne behind you. Do you know what I mean in the MLS? So it's like you can't not do well. You're at least going to get a few goals. So he wasn't for me personally. Obviously I didn't watch him a whole lot, but from stats wise, it doesn't seem that bad. He was getting a lot of shots on target, but just not converting them. So in my opinion, obviously my very small-minded opinion is that I thought he could do better. That's why I like Cincinnati anyway. Like Acosta, you said before, Barriel moving was a really weird one. I really rated him and I thought he was really good. So the fact, I think he was touted to move to Ajax and things like this. So to move to...
I wish he did.
So to move to Brazil, I know I think it's in the top 3 teams. I think Cruzeiro or something like that I think he moved to.
It is just a loan too, so
it is a loan, but it's a weird one being, a first team starter for Cincinnati who are really good. So it was weird.
I will say you're not off on Baird. I'm just saying as an actual footballer, I just don't think he's very good, but he will score pretty well.
You see that, Johnny? Read it and wait.
But one guy that another under the radar, every team has one, but Luca Orlano, could have botched the name for sure. He was picked up to play in that Barriel role, and he's very interesting. He has already integrated into the team, and if he plays like that advancing left wing back position, if he can kind of pick up where Barriel left off, I would argue with him and Miles Robinson coming in, that back line is good. So I do think that you can put him in the winners tier, in my opinion. I feel confident about it enough.
You know what?
They will be contending.
The only reason I leave him in playoff contenders is because it's a nice straight line of logos there. But yeah, we'll put him in, we'll whack him in winners, that's for sure. Cool.
I think it's going to be Murphy. What's the other guy's name? Miazga. Miles Robinson.
Yeah, Miazga's good as well. Colorado Rapids. Right, I'm just going to do it. What do you guys think? I mean, to be fair, I haven't seen a lot of their transfers in. So what have they done, Deke? Enlighten us.
They've gotten. It's a completely different team. So completely different team, exact same result first week. So they have some good pieces. I will be completely honest. And if you overreact to like one away match, which teams stink on the away. They do have one of the best home advantages. They didn't use it last year. They're playing a mile above sea level. It's tough to play there, but they just haven't used that home advantage because the team stinks. But they have Mihailovic. They picked him up, which is a pretty big get as far as MLS terms. They have Zach Steffen from your Man City boys there. He's not very good, but he's there. They picked up Sam Vines, who was abroad. What was he at Antwerp, I think, Royal Antwerp, and then he's back. They signed Lamine Diak. They signed Omir Fernandez from the Red Bulls. So I would argue that they aren't going to be in that wooden spoon. I'd put them mid-table.
I've seen rumors that Marko Ilic is leaving to Salzburg.
Yeah,
almost a win deal.
It's pretty much confirmed.
It's pretty much confirmed almost, but that's really interesting. I saw his price absolutely skyrocketed because obviously first team football. Behind him is Adam Boudry. He's a homegrown, and like they really like him as well. So if Stefan gets hurt, I think he's 17, turning 18 in like a couple months. So like if Stefan goes down, that could be interesting. We could have a 17-year-old keeper in there, which would be kind of cool. But I think
Yabra left, right? Yabra went to San Jose, was it? I don't think he's starting there, but I think he went to San Jose.
Yeah.
Columbus Crew, again, a team I love. I think up here again, but I'll let you guys decide either or. Obviously, we know the main strikers, but and the main focal points of the team. But anyone else you want to enlighten us on?
Jonesy, where do you want them?
Can't Jonesy, where do you think? Wooden spoon?
The reigning champions, you can't go anywhere but winners, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
They got arguably the same team. Yeah.
Yeah. Cucho. Can't wait to see Cucho back.
Oh yeah. Doing really well.
I just hope he stays. I don't see him leaving, but like, man, he is just gonna tear up. That's one guy that I wish I honestly could have put him over Bouanga just because he's so good.
Yeah, there was
I don't know where he's going to go if he was to leave, because he tried it in the Prem, couldn't do it. Tried it in La Liga, couldn't do it. Now he's in the MLS and he's smashing it. You just stay where you do well, right?
Yeah. You hope so, right?
Yeah.
I could potentially see him getting that bag in Saudi Arabia. Could do, but he's still young though, isn't he? I think he's 24. Yeah, 24, and he's doing what he's doing. Like, he can be a proper MLS god at the end of all this. I know I'm throwing God left, right, and centre today, but he could do really, really well, pretty well. FC Dallas.
Oh, I love Dallas.
You're gonna love what I'm gonna say then. They have the upside to win the whole thing. They do.
We said this last season, though, right? But nothing happened.
Don't call him out like that.
No. I just read that this was like Dallas is meant to be Dallas's big year.
I'm so sorry, Deke. We've got a rude podcast member here. All right. You can't just.
The amount of stupid things I say. I mean, there's receipts everywhere. But this year seems different just because as far as they have Peter Musa from Benfica coming in, and that is huge for this Dallas team because Jesus Ferreira can drop underneath him. I don't think Jesus Ferreira is a number 9. I just don't. But he's been having to play there forever. He's more of a 10. I mean, he takes corner kicks, like he doesn't get in the box for set pieces. Like he takes the sets. Him playing underneath Musa, that combo is just going to be deadly. And then you look at the injuries. They have Alan Velasco, who, if everything goes right, he is like riding bike. He's kind of getting back into it. He'll be ready for playoff time. This team is going to be filthy. And the only thing holding them back is their defensive line, which, to be fair, kind of stinks. But the way they've been playing, they have this, and he was one of my breakouts, Dante Seeley, who's playing like a wingback role, who's a youngster who has a ton of talent. And if he can, get up to speed, there's a lot to like about this team.
Yeah, I like Dallas as well. I do like Dallas. There's a couple of players I have in my gallery from Dallas. That's the reason why I like them. Like Tafari, the centre half, I have him. I think he's quite good. Illaramendi, I bought him before he got his move because I thought he was going to LA and then turned out he went to Dallas. But yeah,
he smashed last week.
I had him in a team last week. I think was it Cap 240 or Cap 220 in limited. And then I've had Areola for ages, massively overpaid on that one. But yeah, so I do like Dallas. I've got a few other players. And Pomykal is another one. He was tipped for greatness, right? But not really hit the
He's been injured, but he is back in training, so you get that piece in there too. I mean, you guys can put him wherever you want. I think they can win the whole thing. I do. They have the upside too.
I'm happy with that. Yeah, winners.
We should have had like an underdog thing here because that's one hell of a shout for them to be winners. But I mean, I can't go against the grain here. I'm gonna. What do I know? I just like the look of Musa. I thought he was a good little coup for them as well. So yeah. All right. Okay, I'll leave it at that. DC United obviously they won very nicely. In the first game week, Benteke doing Benteke things, Bentekas we call him. So, what are we thinking?
I'm hoping Deke puts these in wooden spoon. He won't do, but I'm hoping he does.
They have some okay pieces, right? Benteke is going to get his goals. But I see them around the same area they were last time. So I think they are just like a mid-table team. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. The East is really good, like top to bottom. You're going to have to be really good to be there. I think they're better than Wooden Spoon. One of their good signings was Matti Peltola, however you say that. He's a designated player, and he's like 22, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. But they have some pieces, but it's just not a team that you get excited about, even though they did win their first match.
I did win a reward last season at the back end of the MLS, and it was a young player that I wanted to ask you about that I've not seen. I don't think he has started. He's called Theodore Di Pietro.
Yeah.
Is he any good?
He's a starter. Yeah, he does have the upside. They didn't play him last year. Rooney didn't like him or something. I don't know what it is, but he seems like a pretty set player, at least at the early start of the season. He does have some upside. Like, they have some nice pieces. It's just the Eastern Conference is too good. Just flat out, they're too good.
Yeah, I wouldn't him. He's about £1, so I thought he's young. I'll keep him off deep at the end of the start of next season. See how he is.
Yeah. So I mean, he started He had didn't have a decisive. He scored 53 or 54 points, I think. I feel like I remember.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep hold of him.
Yeah.
Fair enough. How about Houston Dynamo? How are we going with that? The only real noticeable player, if I remember, is just Hector Herrera, who's missed the first couple of games, hasn't he? So, what is he meant to be back anytime soon, or is he out for a while, or?
It's indefinitely, but there's been rumors they've played it close to, they haven't really said much, but maybe 6-7 games I've heard rumors of that he'll be out. They are just dropping like flies, which is very concerning just because Nelson Quinones, he's out for the season. Griffin Dorsey, he's questionable. He just went down. Sebastian Sebas Ferreira, he went down, but he should be coming back. The one thing with Houston, though, that you just have to always... Houston in the summer is so freaking hot that it's so hard to play there. So even if they're not very good, it's just really difficult to play there whenever it's like the dog days of summer. So I think they're a bubble playoff team. I really do. And when Herrera gets back, I think this team will look completely different. But I don't know. I think you could almost even put them playoff contenders, but with all these injuries, and they lost the best player in the MLS in Corey Baird, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying West Rams under today. It's brilliant.
Yeah, well, yeah, I agree. They did. Where did they finish again last season? Because I swear they did quite decently.
Maybe like fourth. Can't remember. They host maybe third, fourth.
Yeah.
In the West, they had a tremendous season. I mean, you gotta love a lot of what they do. Just, I don't know, a lot of injuries.
They got Champions League football too, right?
Yeah. St. Louis just kind of like mailed it in, and Houston took advantage, won 1-0, and they're moving on.
Crazy.
They got a player that I'm interested in keeping an eye on. He's called Sviatchenko.
Yeah.
Used to be a big scorer on the platform. He doesn't look like, I'm looking at the scores here, he doesn't look like he's really hit the heights yet. But
Right, yeah.
When he came straight in. I'm interested to see how he does this season. The centre half. That's one of my favourite players.
Yeah, they have a lot of nice pieces. It's just kind of Herrera is everything.
Yeah.
And like you look how well he scored last year, and not just for like Sorare, but for the entire team. Like if he's out, man, they just look like a completely different team that doesn't really scare you. But when he's in, I'm sure maybe changing tune.
So we've got next Barcelona's over 30s here in Miami. What are we thinking for these guys? Like, obviously, a lot of people have them to, I think, win. Obviously, Busquets, Alba, obviously Messi, Suarez, Robert Taylor. They've got a lot of goods.
I knew he was going to say Robert Taylor. What's
wrong with Robert Taylor? He's done well.
You can't mention Robert Taylor in the same breath of Suarez, Messi, Busquets.
I'm just trying to name the players, mate. I knew off my head. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, that's all I knew. Okay, but
We've got to apologise for that, Deke. We've got to apologise.
Yeah, that's. To be honest, I mean, Messi has made him like a very good player as far as scoring and so rare, but
exactly,
he's not a very good player in real life. I'll say again, kind of like the Baird situation. But you throw me out there with zero experience, and maybe I could pass the Messi, but who knows?
Fair enough.
The interesting kind of dynamic here is injuries, right? They already lost Benjamin Kramashi with a hernia for a little bit. They lost Farias for the season. So if they kind of can hold up, and with the congested schedule, I don't know if you guys have watched, but Suarez's knee does not look good. Like, he hasn't really impressed me at all as far as like how he's holding up. I have no idea how he scored like 50 goals in Brazil last year, just based on what I've seen so far. Interesting. One kind of like ace in the hole that they have is that Federico Redondo, or however you say his name.
Okay.
He's coming in, and I think they paid like $9 million for him, and he's like a huge central midfield kind of talent. Him paired up with like Diego Gomez. The young talent is what's going to separate the team compared to like a lot of the MLS teams, because they have a lot of those guys who would be stars on other teams all around Messi. So I think you can't have them anywhere other than winners, but I think they might stumble. I don't think they're going to win. I think they're going to stumble, but I think that's more of a wishing.
I agree. I reckon they're more here, but if you guys want to throw them into winners.
Yeah, put them in winners.
Winners, yeah.
You mentioned him. I was going to ask you about Benjamin Kramashi, because I put him as a reward at the end of last season. I think it was a week after I won Theodore. What's he like as a player? Is he worth keeping? Has he got a lot of upside?
He's worth keeping. Yeah, he has a ton of upside. He's Argentinian, but I believe he has had like a cap with the U.S., so I think he's kind of like towing that allegiance, and he had a really nice season last year. It's just the hernia, I think he's going to be back in like maybe a month, so it's not like the whole season, and he's a key guy in that team. So I'm interested to see how he does this year. I like him.
I'll keep hold of him and play him in a couple of lineups and see how he does.
Yeah.
Cool. Now that we're not talking about Jonesy's gallery and we're getting back onto it, what about LA Galaxy? What are you thinking? Because they drew the other day to Inter Miami. I think it was 1-1, so which is quite decent for them. But where are we thinking? Because we've got no one for playoff contenders. I'm not saying they are, but we need to put someone in there someday. But what do you think?
Lock them into playoff contenders.
Yeah, okay.
They got that opening. They're my dark horse team, not like SO5 team, just because some of the players are expensive. But at the beginning of the year, they have I don't think they can win the whole thing. They can't. But they have the kind of upside if they can stay healthy, because there's so many good pieces. That attacking, I mean, Ricky Puig is unbelievable. If he gets anyone decent around him, which he finally does. Paintsill looked good. He was just beating defenders. And if you watch that game, I know they were at home. Miami was playing their second game of the week, so there was a lot of factors there. They dominated. I mean, it took a Messi goal. He teamed up with Alba in like the 92nd minute, like to equalize. But they dominated, and they fully should have won that game. I know it's a one sample size, but. This team underachieved so bad last year, and maybe Greg Vanney isn't the answer at the helm, but I think this is a playoff team, and I think they are a playoff contender for sure.
Well, so we've got both FC Dallas and LA Galaxy as your sort of dark horses then, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, we're going to, what I want to do is bring you back on after the season's ended, and we'll look at these very predictions and we'll see how that gets on. But what about Los Angeles?
Ellis' fault, right?
Say again?
If it goes wrong, it was Ellis that put this together, right?
Of course. Yeah. Ellis,
Okay.
You're the issue. Los Angeles.
This is tricky. Okay, so I did put Dallas up there in winners. I thought Vela was gonna go back, and I really thought that if he was there, that they could kind of compete. They have a lot of nice pieces. Again, Atuesta is back, so he was unbelievably silver scoring wise last year. He's on sets again, so he's kind of one that, like, if the price kind of dips a little bit on him, I'm definitely going to try and get in on that. Bouanga seems to be happy again. They're trying to work I think they're trying to get a contract with him. But if he's on the team, that's great. The back line, I hate Aaron Long. He's in my hate list. I think he stinks. So that's another guy that I just kind of don't love.
In the list with Corey,
they're a playoff contender for sure. I just don't think they can win it this year. That might be crazy, especially with me having Dallas above that. But again, let's make bold calls, right? I don't know. You guys can bump them up if you guys have a different opinion there.
I agree with you, because I thought LA, for me, after I've followed the MLS for a couple of years now, like, I just seem to find like LA just sort of, it's almost like what they do with Man City. You know, when Man City sort of like gives someone like a glimpse of hope of winning, and then they go on this 10-win streak. Yeah, it's this what I feel like with LA. Like, they just seem to just come out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden they're within the chance again of being in the playoffs. And it's not like they've ever been near the bottom of the table, but they've always been like mid to the high end of the table. So I've always just found they've just sort of just sprung up out of nowhere. So, but I agree, like, I haven't seen anything from them so far that I thought they could win it all, not in comparison to Columbus and Cincinnati, Inter, Miami. So what about you, Jones? What are you thinking?
Yeah, LA again. I got a couple of players from there. So I got Sanchez and Hollinshead. Hollinshead was unbelievable, like, at the back end of last season. So they've got a strong team still. So I don't think they should be any lower than playoff contenders.
Correct,
win it.
Would you say, I don't really know the squad, to be honest with you, but obviously I know the normal names, but from the outside, as an outside looking in, they seem to be quite an old team. Would I be right in saying that, or do they have a good mix in there?
They have some really nice youth talent, actually. So I'll touch on, you're spot on about them kind of coming up the table. The reason was because they had that Champions Cup kind of at the beginning of the season, which just completely threw a wrench. They didn't qualify this year. So they might start out hotter out of the gate, but then some teams might catch up. It might be like a little bit of a reversal, which would be interesting. My thing with them is they don't have a number 9, like a true, like Bouanga, yeah, sure, he could play it, but like Bogusz played there. He's a young talent. He was at Leeds before, he's kind of bounced around. But yeah, he scored. But just kind of, I know it's a knee-jerk reaction, but they played Seattle without, 5 starters for Seattle at home, and Seattle almost, equalized and gave them a game. Like, there's a lot of kind of question marks. They did sign some crazy youth talent. Omar Campos, the left back from Santos Laguna. He's really talented. He had an assist in the first match. And then they had David Martinez, who's like a 17-year-old wonder kid who they are building for the future. But Thomas Angal is another one. So they did make a lot of youth signings. But yeah, I don't know. The depth is going to be an issue. If they have 2 injuries, they might be done for.
Yeah, well, Anger's going to be a massive one for them, isn't it? Like, at the end of the day, the goals win you the game. So if he gets injured at any point, then I can see them struggling quite badly, to be honest. But yeah, playoff contenders, I agree with.
What do you think Lloris is going to get on?
Oh, yeah.
See, you guys probably have watched him a lot more, but the recency bias in my head is that, he's done. But I don't know. What do you think?
That was my opinion. He was done.
Okay.
Last season at Spurs, he was terrible. Really terrible. The fact that they've been trying to replace him for years with different goalies, and they finally got that man now in Vicario. Yeah, I don't think he's going to have a good year. I think this might be a one and done for him, and he'll call it a day at the end of the season.
Yeah, and the MLS is a different breed because you are in a lot of action. You're going to see shots, and you look at Guzan, they let him die out there, it's just, they truly do. And you can't hide a keeper that, isn't, even the elite ones give up 3-4 goals. It's just it's tough.
I still think he can do a job, to be fair. Yes, he didn't cut it out in Spurs, but I think the Premier League to the MLS, don't want to be disrespectful, but obviously the caliber of players and the teams is a lot different. But I think LAFC is definitely a good shout for him to be in, a good team. I think out of all teams, he probably suit that or Inter Miami, obviously. But yeah, luckily enough for him, he doesn't play for a Austin or Colorado or things like that. So I think he can do well. I think he can do a job. I don't. How old is he now? He's near the back end of 30, I think now, which is still
38. I don't know.
37. So he's still got another year or 2 in him at least. So I think it's still a good coup for LAFC. But yeah, we'll see at the end of the season. Minnesota.
Cap's going to be.
Jonesy?
I'm not going to say anything. I don't really know a lot about Minnesota. I know Cap loves Minnesota though.
I won't say I love him. I love a couple of the players from there.
Yeah,
I think the Eric Ramsey signing is going to be really good for them. He was the set piece coach for United and Chelsea, and he didn't do very good, to be fair, at United set piece wise, but Chelsea he did a lot for them. So I can only really see it going one way. I mean, they've got some good players up front. They have obviously with Pukki, Reynoso. I think the combination of those two, especially with the set piece tactics that they're probably going to be given from the experienced Ramsey, I think it's only going to go one way, in my honest opinion. But yeah, defensively, what's his name, St. Clair or St. Clair or something like that. He's an all right goalkeeper. He doesn't do too bad. But yeah, I'd love to get your take on it, Deke.
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck in the middle here. Why would they not hire a coach when you had the entire off season? Why wait until the first week? that's a red flag for me right out the gate. That tells me that no one wanted to go there, possibly. I mean, Minnesota isn't a travel destination in the winter. Ask Reynoso. He tries to usually join late. But they do have several good attacking pieces, like you touched on. Bongi Hiloangoane, or however you say that, I botch it every time. I just call him Bongi. On the right side, he's very good, especially with Reynoso. They have some nice pieces, but if you kind of compare, they did win their first match, so it's probably, terrible to kind of say this after. I think they stink outside of Reynoso and, some of these guys. Reynoso will do his thing, but they're still going to concede 2 to 3 goals. The back line is not very good. There's just not a lot to like there. St. Clair's solid. He's a good keeper. And at home, they're good, but on the road, I just see them struggling, as most teams do. But in comparison to, a team going 500, I would almost put them in that wooden spoon / mid-table mix. But I'm fine with either or.
Wooden spoon for me.
Mid-table it is. Okay, next.
Wooden spoon. No, I was going to say regarding Minnesota, I like Kazani Dotson. I think he's a good talent. He needs to probably move from there. But they never signed any defenders, did they, in the offseason? And that was like their weakest point. So I don't know how they're going to fare. But yeah, they need defenders.
I think for Ramsey, I think the reason why he's coming so late is, I don't know why they've appointed him like now, but maybe they were talking with him because I'm a United fan. I sort of know what sort of happens. I speak to them, so I know. But no, it's so basically once the whole sale of United have went through with Ratcliffe, then they decide to get rid of some people. Like you've seen, like there's lots of people leaving the club, and Eric Ramsey has been very much an underperformer since he's been at United. So that's why I reckon they got rid of him. The sale only went through about a few weeks or a month ago, wherever it was now, and then lo and behold, he's allowed to talk to different places. So that's what I think it is. I think it was just sort of like, right, we don't need you anymore. Sort of push out the door, and then Minnesota's come in and said, yeah, we'll take you. So that's in my opinion what looked like has happened. Anyway, Montreal.
Interesting. So you can say that about every team. I feel like I'm saying that way too much. But so every season, since it's so cold up there, they play these first 6 to 7. This year's at 6 on the road. So they play 6 straight road games. They did go to Orlando and draw, so that's a great start. But you always see them bottom of the table after the first 6 to 7 games. Always. It's just always. Then they have a stretch of home games, and they start to turn it around. Their off-season was interesting. It's just, I don't know what they're doing, to be honest. They played one striker, $5 million signing from Huracan, and Caraco or something. Caracho, however you say it. But they also signed Joseph Martinez for some reason, and they already have Poku, who they got from LAFC last year. Just kind of bundling everyone together. Fournier is nice. I like him as a central mid role. They signed a guy Yankov. They made a lot of kind of splash signings. Yeah. But as far as the team goes, I think they're just middle of the road. I don't think they're I don't think they can compete with a lot of the teams. I think they'll push for the playoffs, but I think they're in that mid-table bubble area, and it's just kind of, you don't really expect a ton from them.
Am I right in saying they signed Joseph Martinez as well? Is that right?
Yeah.
As well. So it looks like, from what I saw, I think it was what you wrote on Play Sharper, is that he's more or less of a just rotation option with the current striker who did well in his first game. What do you think of Jonesy? We're thinking what, bubble, or are we thinking playoff, guys? Which one? I'm thinking more bubble, probably.
Mid-table. I think Deke said mid-table.
Oh, sorry, bubble or mid-table, yeah.
I'm good either or there, whatever you guys think.
We need to start a debate for us, Deke.
Okay.
So, me and Kat were looking at a player called Joel Waterman.
Yeah.
All right. I was on the side that he's a really good Sorare scorer, he's a decent defender, and he can put up decisive, but Kat was like, he's terrible.
I didn't say that.
You basically did. This is on a little call we had ages ago.
No.
What's your thoughts on him?
he's key in the back line, so he plays like the central role in the back three, and he's young enough. I think he's like 26, mid 20s, and he scores really well in Sorare. I do think, as far as they loaned in Joaquin Sosa from like Bologna, he had a failed experience that's I don't know, Zagreb, I think. Like he kind of bounced around. They got George Campbell, Corbo. So they do have a decent back line, a lot better than other teams. And Waterman does score really well in their system. As far as kind of like somewhat interesting is what strategy. So Nancy left Montreal to go to Columbus. And his system is what they play. They hired Cruz number 2 coach who runs the same system to come back to Montreal, and that's the head coach. So we could see like a Nancy Ball Jr. type of thing, which makes them interesting because we saw how well it worked. But at the same time, the center backs will score well. So I do think Waterman's a decent option.
There you go, Captain. Stick it in your pipe and smoke it.
You've completely taken it out of context for what you just done. But I'm not even going to give you the. Just shut up. Anyway, we're going to go with Nashville.
Oh,
Surridge, Mukhtar.
Yeah. It seems like they're the same. Tyler Boyd signing is huge for them.
Hello?
Oh, don't tell me he's Kyle again. Do not tell me he's Kyle.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
No, but was he going laggy for you then as well? Was it me?
No.
Oh, he went really laggy for me then. So he's still dead still for me. Is it?
Moving. I can see him. Hey,
Yeah, but is he moving for you? Because for me, he's
Yeah, he just put both his hands up.
Well, yeah, for me, he's really laggy. So I'm just going to leave the call and come back in. All right.
Right, I'll get to share your screen again. Can't wait for him to move back to England.
Hey.
What's you said Malta, right?
Yeah, he's in Malta at the moment.
What's that like?
Shithole.
Terrible.
Really?
No, it's a nice place. You don't want to live it. That's for sure.
It's the Detroit of Europe.
Oh wow.
Not that bad.
Right. Okay, so everyone's moving fine now. Everyone can see the screen. Can you see the?
Hold on.
I've shared my screen.
I know it's just loading. It's just still loading. Hold on.
Can you see a Deke?
Let me stop watching.
Still loading.
You've been disconnected. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let me try share it again. Screen 1. Now it should work.
Yep.
Cool.
Right,
okay. Well, sorry for that. But right, let's get back into that then. Where were we? We were talking about Nashville, Deke.
Yep.
Yeah. Nashville, it's just kind of, they got Tyler Boyd, which is a big pickup. They have Schaffelberg on the other side, so they do have a little bit of pace. Honey Mukhtar is great, but he's injured right now. Sam Surridge is, the target guy that you're kind of looking for, but they're still playing the same system that just doesn't allow them to score goals, it seems like. They're playing it just, is Hani going to score for us? Is he going to do it for us? That type of game, which is just tough. So, I think they're going to be, I might even go out on a limb that they're going to struggle to make the playoffs just because I think the Eastern Conference is so good. So I honestly put them in the bubble playoffs and not the playoff contenders just because I think they're going to be battling. I really do. Could be off on that, but...
Well, yeah, it's like what you said, every time I see them score, it's always Mukhtar assist, Mukhtar goal. He always seems to be part of 3/4 of their goals every season. So, he's obviously injured now. I don't think he's going to be out long. But, yeah, Jonesy, what about you, mate? Got any insight on...
In the Mukhtar price, the price has dropped $12, $13, so I'm actually tempted to pick one up, to be honest.
Yeah.
For what he does, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I had a couple of Nashville players. Obviously, I had Dax. I think he was at Nashville last season. He's obviously moved. I like the defence. The young guy, Jack Mayer. I like him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really know too much about Dallas. They had a keeper situation, right? They didn't know if they're keeping Willis or not, but it looks like he stayed. So yeah, I agree. Probably mid-table or bubble playoffs.
Alright, so we'll go bubble playoff. So what we'll do, guys, we've got 13 teams left, so we will ramp through these quite quickly.
And Heel Bumber.
Yeah, New England.
I think they're a playoff contender when everyone gets healthy, but you could even put them in the bubble playoffs as well. They're kind of in between. But I like them in the contenders just because they do have enough pieces when everyone's healthy. So they do have people coming back, and they have some depth, which a lot of teams don't have in the MLS.
Ellis's team here, New York City. Where we put in those guys?
Wooden spoon. No, they're not that bad.
They're really young. And it's just going to be, I hate Nick Cushing. I don't know how you guys feel about him. He might be my most hated person in the MLS as far as the coaches.
It sounds like you got It sounds like you got an MLS hit list.
Yeah. So I love the youth. Like Julian Fernandez is really good. They've made some great signings. They're just young. So like, I think they're going to be in that bubble playoff position, but they're a team that might not make the playoffs again.
Yeah, weirdly, Ellis loves Nick Cushing.
Really?
Style of play. Yeah, he loves his style of play, how they keep the ball. Look, we know how good they are defensively at home. Like they barely ever concede. So yeah, I think bubble playoffs, right? They'll be very strong at home. It depends how well they are away, really.
Well,
I just need to score.
What do you think of, just real quick before we move on to Keaton Parks? What do you think of him?
Oh, love Keaton Parks. Love Keaton Parks.
At least you can agree with Alice with that one then. He loves him as well.
Oh, I love Keaton Parks. I love everything he does. He's so good.
Very player.
All right. New York Red Bulls.
Fighting Forsbergs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of same situation. He just needs someone to score off of his passes. Van Zier isn't, scoring, and Manuel is the other striker. They just got to score, and Forsberg's gonna be great, but I think his Sorare upside is capped just because those decisives aren't going to come because they're not scoring off of them. I think he's going to create a ton of chances. He does make them better. John Tolkien's still there for probably the first half of the season. He's getting back from a groin injury. I think they're right there, square in that bubble playoffs. I just don't. I don't have them higher than that. I think they're right with New York City FC, but.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, happy with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. They've got some good pieces, but the defense is like pretty terrible, right? If I remember, like Sean Nealis is horrendous, like the Aaron Long of New York.
I like Tolkien. I do like Tolkien.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
Tolkien's very good. One of the
Good
bright
player.
spots.
Orlando City.
The interesting one.
Yeah. I have them as playoff contenders. I think you could argue it's either playoff contenders or winners, but I'm not going to go out and say winners. I do like Riel. I do like, it's a weird situation how Duncan McGuire's back, and it's just confusing because, the whole Blackburn Rovers, he was on a plane, it didn't work. What even happened? Did someone not hit send? Like
Someone forgot to send the money.
How do these things happen? It's just, I think they have one of the best MLS kind of, I put him in like the Jesus Ferreira, a young player that looks like he's going to stay in the MLS, in Facu Torres. He's awesome, and he loves Orlando, and it doesn't seem like he has any ambition to kind of go elsewhere. He signed another new contract. He seems there to stay. They did lose Mauricio Pereira, but they picked up a Seattle boy. Do you have that card by chance?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about him now. What do you think his role is going to be?
I think he's going to rotate a little bit with Martin Ojeda. Ojeda's a designated player, so he's one of the 3 designated players, and they just haven't really used him that much. One of the key signings is Angulo. He was a loanee last year. They signed him full-time on the left side. So they do have a really nice attacking piece. They got a bit of Bulldogs and Cartagena and Arujo in the midfield. And, He signed David Brecolo, or however you say him, as a center back. So they have a lot of nice pieces. I think they have that playoff contender. Could they make a run? They blew it in the playoffs last year. But they're square involved in the contender aspect, I think.
And what were they, second last year? Weren't they in the Eastern Conference as well?
Yeah.
So they really were silent to me. Like, I didn't really see them up there, but then when I checked the table near the end of the season, I'm like, wow. I didn't. If you told me where would they be, I thought they'd be like, fifth or something like that. But to be second is really, really good. How about we go on to your team then? A nice little Philly. What were we thinking? We put wooden spoon? Okay, next.
Yeah.
So Portland Timbers.
Disrespecting the guest.
Yeah, I'll be fully transparent with Philadelphia.
Yep.
I don't like how they're looking. Boy, Carranza, this is his last year. He's going to leave on a free after this year. So they're trying to find the pieces behind. The back line looks horrendous. The center backs, Glesnes has looked pretty horrendous. In the Saprissa CONCACAF Champions Cup, he had an own goal that it was a back pass from hell to Blake, and it got Blake a negative decisive and himself, so it completely just torched my lineup. So pretty hurt on about that. Then he had a penalty in the second leg, so he just I don't know, he's all over the place. He looks slow, so whenever he has to play against Messi, man, he's just going to get dominated. So they're going to make the playoffs. They will. They're a good team. Jim Curtin will have them going, but they're just a playoff contender. And I'd put them exactly where you put them. Yeah, I think LAFC is a better team than they are. I think they're slightly better than the Galaxy, slightly better than the Revs, but I don't think they can win the MLS by any means.
There we go.
Winners. I thought you were going to be winners. It's my team. They're going to win.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do.
I'm a natural pessimist, so maybe it's just I got the blinders on that I see all the negatives, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Is Elliot still playing for him? Is it Elliot, the gay partner's Glesnes
Yeah.
normally? Yeah.
Crazy. Okay, then we're going to go to Portland Timbers, who did win 4-1 the other day. Nice win for them. How are they looking first game of the season?
They looked amazing. If you look at it, the best thing about MLS is the intricacies of each team in their home stadium. So if you've ever seen a Timbers game, they fire up a chainsaw and a guy's just cutting wood. It is the most absurd thing. They score a goal and he just fires it out. He's just cutting wood. And it is hysterical, especially they were dominating the first half and they just keep panning to this guy. He's just cutting the wood. It's hysterical. But yeah, you got to love that from just a clown show type of thing around the game. But they looked awesome. One thing to highlight is Eric Williamson coming back from missing basically the entire season last year. He looked phenomenal playing in that number 10 role, while Evander was, he got hurt in warm-ups and got scratched, and he's dealing with a calf issue. There's a lot of things going on. But Williamson, he played really well. Anthony played really well. And they have Crepeau and net. Pantemis played while Crepeau's getting his green card, but he's a good keeper. They got Kamal Miller. What do you guys think about Phil Neville?
No comment.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. I don't know. I've not got a lot to say about him, to be honest. But first game, good game, good start. And how do you think Evander's going to actually do this season? Do you actually think we're going to see, because we saw, I think, glimpses somewhat last season, but is there going to be more consistency this year? You think the same old crap?
I was pretty high on him coming into the season, and I still am if he can play. But you're gonna get those ups and downs. He just I feel the mental aspect of his game, he just loses his head and then makes a dumb foul, gets a red card. He just he isn't just, I don't know. He's just too sporadic. The upside is for sure there, and I think he'll have, the 80 to 100 scores that you're looking for on Sorare. But it's just kind of, can he rein it in? Can he just not make that stupid foul? Can he not, lose his mind? But they're interesting. I'm going to put them bubble playoff. I don't think they're a upper end playoff team, but they narrowly missed out last season. So yeah, I think they're maybe right after Nashville. Yeah.
Nashville.
I call Evander the poor man's Joao Paulo.
Yeah, there you go.
I hope he
Paulo's
has a
so
better
good.
season. He came in with such hype, didn't he? His price was like, when he
Yeah,
first came into the league, his price was through the roof. It was like the most
yeah,
expensive MLS card. He just didn't have the
yeah.
hype.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he was great at Michelin, and then
Yeah.
came and I thought he was going to be really good. I will say that I was wrong about last season. I was in the camp of trying to buy it, but it was too expensive, and thankfully I don't have one. But yeah,
Yeah.
They sold Jimmy Chara, right? I did have a
Yeah.
Jimmy
yeah,
Chara.
he's in like Colombia or something, I think. Yeah, right.
But they kept the other Chara, the older Chara.
Yeah, Diego. Yeah, the engine.
Yeah, Diego. I don't know if he'll even get any minutes this year. I think I've got one of his cards as well somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna be a starter, and he'll probably retire after the season.
Oh, I think he'll be a starter.
He's just a motor. Like he just does so much good things defensively. That yeah, we'll see.
We'll see how he gets on. Who's
So-
next, Cap?
Salt Lake. Real Salt Lake. I like
They lost
Arango.
Severino. Yeah. Arango's good. Diego Luna is a guy that's going to take another step. He's really good. He's played pretty poor the first two matches. Too tough, you know. They were on the road for both. So they went to Miami and then to St. Louis. That's tough. One of my favorite players from the team is Pablo Ruiz. I think he's really good. It's just he was playing in the number 10 role, and they brought in Matty Crooks. I don't know what you guys think about him. I haven't watched a lot other than he's big. Do you guys have any insight on him?
Is he the former Rangers player, Matty Crooks?
Yeah, I think he just came from Middlesbrough.
Yeah,
Maybe.
like a midfielder, right?
Yeah.
I don't know a lot
like a-
about him. Let me have a look. Real Salt Lake. I remember him playing for Rangers, and he wasn't great.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's probably pretty good for the MLS, right?
Could be, but I mean, I'd probably say the MLS might even be better than the Scottish League. So don't quote me on
Wow.
that. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, whoa, that's stirring the pot.
Goddamn. But I quite like them, but not. I don't think they're anywhere close to sort of like winners or playoffs. But they got a good core, I think. Like you said, Pablo Ruiz, Arango, Justin Glad, McMath. Yeah, I think they got a good central like spine. Do they have anyone out? Left back, right back, either
Brody.
side of the field.
Brody,
Brody,
yeah.
Brody's decent as well. Like,
They love Mecca Anelli. He plays right back and he can play like centrally, and they love him. They try to get him in as much as possible. But like that Crooks, if he plays that number 10, Ruiz is a number 8, like through and through. Whenever he gets into that 10 role, he's just not the same player. He's looked horrible the first two matches. If Crooks comes in and starts, he pulls back to that 8 role. I think we're going to see more from him. I think that they're one of those teams that's solid, like you said. What do you guys think?
Pablo Ruiz, I do like Pablo Ruiz. I bought him for a very expensive price back in the day in limited, like
Yeah.
50 quid, I think he was. But yeah, I do like Pablo Ruiz. He's a hothead though, isn't he? He does love to
Yeah, he does go hot and cold for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, he's one of them. But didn't he score an amazing goal last season? Was it?
yeah, behind the halfway line. Yeah,
Yeah, that was it. So yeah, he's full of surprises, and he's cheap at the moment as well. He's only like £4, so I might pick him back up.
yeah.
I think
I do think the first two matches aren't indicative of what he's probably going to do this season.
Yeah,
So yeah, I like bubble playoffs. I like them.
I like both
Maybe after Portland, or maybe I kind of like having those New York teams together. I don't know why, but
are we still?
them together.
We might need to quickly go over them afterwards, so we can drop them in
Oh, yeah,
actually,
yeah.
and then we can refix them. But how about San Jose then? Obviously, we briefly spoke about them earlier with Vela and Abobasi and Espinoza. Like, where are we thinking?
Yeah, this is difficult. They have nice pieces, right? They have Rodriguez as the back line.
Yeah.
They have Akapo and Paul Marie as their left and right back. Daniel's a good goalie. Centrally, Jackson Yule, Guerrezo. It's a solid team, but I don't know what their true upside. It can't be like they can't be in the contenders for me right now. Even if they sign Vela, I just think they might be like towards the same trajectory as like Chicago, where they have some nice pieces, but I think they're just lacking in a few roles. I don't know. again, this is tough. Espinoza is awesome. I think he's a really good player for MLS, but I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think?
No, I agree. They're just solid. Like to me, in terms of like relating them to like a Premier League team, I see them almost like a West Ham that are like good but not good enough. You know, but they're not bad that they're not going to be at the bottom. So that's how I sort of see them. To be fair,
Defensively, other than Rodriguez and Daniel, who have they actually got?
Tanner Beeson is starting right now. They signed Bruno Wilson. I don't know much about him. I think he's from like Portuguese league. Could be wrong on that. Vitor Costa came in as a left back, but Paul Marie, not great. He's not like a starting level, so maybe he beats him out. So yeah, that and Akapo at right back. So there's holes.
they lost Montero as well, didn't they, to Gaziantep as in the Turkish league as well.
Yes.
He was quite decent. Well, from what I saw, he was quite decent for them last season. So, but yeah, everyone happy with the bubble playoffs?
Yeah, it works.
Cool. Seattle.
Be kind.
Seattle Sounders.
Oof. So
God, it's so tense in
I
here.
At the beginning of the season, I honestly had them around that winners section. Like them and like FC Dallas are like neck and neck for me. Okay, I still think they're about there. It's just a lot of things have to kind of work out, but I think it can happen. So like, if you take a look at the team, they have every piece. They do. They have every position covered. It's just like that depth. Are they going to have enough depth to kind of withstand these injuries? Okay, they look pretty good with injuries so far. I mean, they have Andy Thomas in net. Has he ever played a competitive game? I don't know. It's just kind of, they have all the key pieces. Nathan coming in is kind of pretty underrated from San Jose. He missed all of last season. Yeah. He was amazing on Sorare 2 years ago. And he's probably the third center back. They have all these guys. He's out right now, but Baker Whiting, however you say it, Reed Baker Whiting, he has a ton of upside. Like Premier League clubs have been monitoring him. He hasn't had like any first team experience, like very rare. So what if he takes a jump? Atencio, they like him. They have a lot of depth that MLS teams just don't have. So that makes me want to, have them in that winners category, just because. I mean, look at the injuries right now. You get João Paulo back. You get all these guys back. Man, they're dangerous. And then they signed Pedro de la Vega, and he came in, took a penalty first match. He's like, I'm ready. He's a youngster. You're probably going to have him start at left mid, and then you're going to have Leo Chu coming on for 30 minutes to just run rampant. There's too much to like about this team to not put them in winners for me. But I don't know.
Yeah, get him up there. Get him in the winners category.
I was just letting them rest there, mate. All right, we'll leave it at that then. We'll leave it at that. Sporting Kansas City.
Oh, dear.
They kind of shocked the world last year. They snuck into the playoffs. They got hot in the wild card game. They beat St. Louis City, their new rival, and they got good pieces. It's just kind of. It's aging pieces. Johnny Russell is up there. Yeah. Polito's good. My favorite player in their team is for sure Shallowy on the left wing. He is very good. He takes most set pieces. He scores really well. So whenever he's in the mix, he's good. Ami takes some set pieces as well. Gadi Kinda leaving. I was always in the team Gadi Kinda, but they just didn't play him because whenever he was on the pitch, he was really impressive. And losing him's pretty big. The back line's okay. They have like Rosero and Fontas. Logan Ndembe is probably out for most of the season with an ACL. Camellia is, still there because the coach loves him and he's never going to get replaced. But I do see this team as just kind of a middle of the road. They could either be bubble playoffs or even mid-table for me. I think they'll probably be on the bubble of the playoffs, but one thing that I will say of this weekend, they have the perfect storm going against Philadelphia, and they could shellac Philadelphia this weekend at home. So Let's put them in bubble playoffs, because if that happens, then like if I have them in mid-table, that wouldn't look too hot. A little bit of home bias there, but yeah, I don't know. What do you guys own any of the players from SKC?
I had Johnny Russell for a couple of games last season. I think I've sold him now.
Yeah,
But I want to get Saloy. Was it Saloy? The left wing.
Shall we? Yeah.
Yeah. I really want to get. I like him. He's got a lot of upside. He does.
Yeah, I don't mind Polito. I think value for money wise, I think he's probably up there because he's quite cheap. And I've got Johnny Russell as well. Obviously, I think he just signed that year contract as well, hasn't he? So I think he's going to do quite well. But yeah, like you said, could do quite well. Supporting Kansas, bit of a weird one, aren't they? So we'll see.
This team have the definition of steady Eddie in there. By the way, these like the founding steady Eddie, Remy Walter, the man who consistently hits a 50 on the nose,
every time,
49 on the nose every time. He'll never get distracted. He'll never have a bad game. He consistently hits that 1 point of 49 or 50.
Yeah.
He is that cat mode. You lock him in for 50 and hope you hit a little higher, on the other guys. But yeah, that's a good job.
Right, so we've got the remaining three now. If you are listening on Spotify, obviously you're going to have to check this on YouTube. But sorry if you can hear my dog barking in the background. We've got St. Louis City next. What we're thinking, because they had, what was their last season, their first season last season, and I think they did really, really well considering. What we thinking?
Yeah, they did really well last season. They did have a little bit of luck. Some of the back passes that went right to Klaus, and he just walks in and scores. But if you take a look at what they're doing, just structurally with the team, they've made a lot of good moves. Giacchini kind of transferring was weird. I'm surprised they let him go. I know they like Adeniran as the second striker, but I think Giacchini was really good and kind of helped the team. And then you have Adeniran as the third striker. So they are kind of a little light there. But the amount they rotate is it's almost like they have a first team and then they have a set second team and they rotate like crazy. So midweek, they kept 4 starters, rotated 7. And they do have the depth that they work in. I just question if they have that upside to, do it again. Austin was really good in their first year, and then they had a second season slump where they just kind of fell apart. I'm not going to say that they're going to fall apart, but yeah, I think they're either in your playoff contenders or they're in the bubble there. I think their depth is good enough to kind of put them in the playoff contenders, maybe at the end of the playoff contenders, or close to the top of the bubble.
Okay. Josie, anything else to add on, mate?
I don't really know much about St. Louis, apart from that Klaus couldn't be a goal machine if he stays fit. That's about it. And now they signed the Dortmund goalie, didn't they, last season? What's his name?
Berkey.
Yeah, that's a really good signing. He's not that old, is he, Berkey? He's only in, early 30s?
Yeah, I think so, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's a nice signing. I don't really know a lot about them though, so I can't really chime in on that one.
One thing that I will say, that atmosphere at City Park is unbelievable. So they do have a huge home advantage, which, everyone has a home advantage, but the atmosphere is crazy there. That's one place that I'd love to get to, because I'm trying to hit a new MLS stadium every year. So that's I saw DC United for the All-Star game last year, so I don't know. St. Louis is kind of a hike for me, but I might start with Columbus next year or something.
Yeah. Toronto,
nice.
Toronto. Obviously, we saw what they were last season. What we're thinking this season, managed to so far hold on to Insigne. Bernardeschi has been pretty much a waste of time. What else are we thinking about Toronto and lads?
Yeah, so a couple things. Insigne, apparently he's questionable this weekend because it's turf. He might not play a single turf game all year. So that could be interesting. I will say Herdman, their new hire, took both the women's and men's Canadian teams to the international level. But I just don't like the roster composition of this team. It's just, I can't see them anywhere out of fighting for that wooden spoon.
Yeah.
Are they still that bad? Have they not signed anybody? I'm not really kept in touch with this.
They got Richie Larea, which is a good pickup for sure. Matty Longstaff, you guys know him. They just signed him.
Yeah, he's the long staff brother though.
He's a free agent for a reason, but yeah.
Yeah, he was a free agent signing, so that tells a lot about it. They signed Kevin Long. I don't know much about him, center back. But other than that, it's the same team from last year, and we saw what that was.
One of Cap's favourite players is Osorio, Jonathan Osorio.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, Osorio's fine.
Yeah. And then we finish it on, guys, on Vancouver Whitecaps. Where we placing them then?
Oh, the Fighting Ryan Gaulds. Ryan Gauld is awesome.
Yeah.
He just is. Brian White is kind of low key. He's a guy that I like as well. He's like a hardworking guy. You know, he doesn't have all the God-given talent, but he works pretty hard. They're interesting because they have that home advantage. Traveling to Vancouver, especially for these Eastern Conference teams, that is a hike. That is so far away. They have that advantage. The system's good. There's a lot to like about this team.
Yeah.
Vanni Sartini is like probably the most likable coach if you've ever seen anything with him. He just if you watch a presser, he's amazing. He's a genuinely just awesome guy. So maybe that kind of paints me a little bit for them. I think they're a bubble playoff team. Nothing more, nothing less. I just think they're in that bubble.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, that's all good.
So what we'll do quickly now, then we'll go through each one, and we'll go through, obviously, winners is who you think is going to win and completely. Playoff contenders is more or less, I guess, the people you think is going to definitely get into it. So we'll just go down that and quickly summarise it. So who are we thinking winners are going to be?
I think until we see anything else, I think Columbus has to be the favorite again. They did it last year, and it's the same team. It really is. Diego Rossi's going to be awesome, and Cucho's great. They have a lot of good pieces. So I would argue until you beat them, they're there. Inter Miami is going to be up there. They just are, sadly. I don't know why. I love the Messi effect, but I catch myself rooting against them. I just don't have a reason to, but I don't know. What do you guys think on that? Is it just me?
Yeah,
I get that underdog feeling. Everybody's an underdog against Inter Miami, so yeah, I like the underdog winning.
Yeah, but can you really be classed as an underdog if you've got the players you've got? It's past underdog stage at this point now, isn't it? It's almost like if they fail to lose, it's a rubbish season for them. That's what I think is coming to. It's like a Man City equivalent. Do you know what I mean? If you fail to lose the Prem.
Handicap, you've got it the wrong way around. Inter Miami are room for anybody that's playing against them. The team that's playing against Inter Miami are the underdogs. Because they've got Messi, Suarez.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you said they are the underdogs. And I was like, how?
No.
Okay. That makes sense. How about anyone else to move around there? Do you think? I think Atlanta probably have a lesser chance than these lot, but
I'd put Atlanta at the end there.
Yeah.
I think Cincinnati. I think it's the East is probably going to have the eventual winner, but then you got. I do like Dallas and I do like Seattle. I would even flip Seattle and Dallas just because I think Seattle has a deeper team that can withstand a little bit of injuries and at long term, especially if they can, get some home advantage. Dallas is tough to play in the summer as well. But I think that top list, I think all those teams can win. The only one that maybe can't would be Atlanta if Almada leaves and they don't get a replacement guy, but they're pretty deep as well.
Yeah. So we're happy with the winners side then, guys. I think I'm quite happy with that. It looks quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then playoff contenders. Who's got the best chance of being in the playoffs here? Because I quite like the look of it at the moment, actually.
It's pretty solid, right?
It is
Philly is always in.
They're always in.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it looks pretty good as far as I would say the three, the LA Galaxy, New England, and St. Louis might be almost to the next tier, but I think having them there is the bottom end of that tier.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that last bit? Didn't hear them.
I like it.
You like it, yeah?
Yeah, it's good, yeah.
Cool. And then the bubble playoffs. This is going to be a fun one. Let's just start off. Who's the best out of these lot here?
I'd probably say Nashville, just as, they make the playoffs pretty much every year, and they're good. I don't know. I'll let you guys pick the next one. Who do you guys think the next...
I think Earthquake. So they get Vela. I think they're a bit of a...
Ooh.
I think they could do well. Hey?
It's tough because all of these they've all got holes. Every single one of these teams has got serious holes. So they could stop them from getting to the playoffs.
I feel like Hector Herrera coming back.
Yeah,
I feel like Houston's pretty good. What if we go Houston, then San Jose?
Houston, then San Jose?
Yeah, get San Jose's upside there. I think, they're right there.
I like that.
Chicago Fire shouldn't be that high, right?
Say it again.
Chicago Fire shouldn't be that high, right?
No. They have nice pieces, but same time. Like Kuiper should be good, but yeah.
But maybe Kansas City might be a little bit higher than what they are because they've actually got good defense and good attack.
Yeah, they're pretty solid. I would argue that New York City is probably too high.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Alice.
Sorry.
So who would you say? Who's the worst out of those bubble playoffs? Would we say New York?
Probably, yeah. Just they have a great squad. It's very young, and I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably go with that.
If Tellers stays, Tellers Magno, does that change?
See, that's where I do have a Taos Magno. Cushing doesn't play him, so he's injured. He's been rolled out for this game week. And I just don't understand, not to go on a tangent, but the new availability reports are now coming out Friday afternoon, so we don't have any It's just the dumbest thing. I know they're not looking for Sorare to use the deadline, but that is just an absolute thorn in the side whenever Friday afternoon before even the match day, that, this guy's out, sweet. Lineup dead.
Okay. Anyone else we want to jig around in the bubbles? Otherwise, we'll go to mid-table.
Whatever you guys think.
I'm happy with that as long as you're happy, mate. Deke, you're the MLS God here, mate. You get the final say. So you, what do you think?
Remember, we are coming back to this near the end of the season.
So I get the guillotine whenever.
Basically. All right, we'll leave it at that then. What about mid-table then? What are we thinking mid-table wise?
I think Montreal's the best there.
Yeah.
You can even argue they might even be the next up tier, but I think they're good at the mid-table there. What do you guys think?
Let's have a look.
Maybe...
I like it like that, I think.
Well, that?
No. That, yeah. I think that
I think that's fine.
Okay. And then the wooden spoon. Who's the worst of the lot?
I'm going to say Austin.
Are they really that bad?
No, they're not. They didn't have Drew either. I think it's Toronto. I think Minnesota is the best of that tier. It's just... But, the crazy thing about MLS is you don't have a team that goes back-to-back in the wooden spoon. You just usually don't. Yeah. It's just there's a lot of parity. So we could be looking and maybe some injuries happen and someone from that bubble playoffs is by far the worst team in the league. And that's what makes MLS great. You don't have that, this team's going to win it, it's over. If you're a Man United fan, just seeing City just win it every year, that kind of thing.
Why did you bring this up?
Thank you for saying that.
I hope Sporting Kansas City beat you now.
They will. I might even put a little wager on Sporting Kansas City to win because I do feel strongly about that.
Yeah, then it's a win-win because if you lose, your team wins, but if you lose, then that's quite a good one actually. What we can do now, because we're getting to the last one of this podcast, I know we've got the quiz that Jonesy has got for you, so I hope you are ready for this. It is going to be out of 10 and they are going to be difficult, so please don't be upset if you get one or two right. But
right.
See, this is
set the bar low, baby.
We try to find hard questions, like, because there is a prize. Cap, do you want to let everyone know what the prize is still on the leaderboard?
Yeah, so we haven't done this in a while, so I forgot. So we've got the leaderboards. Second place gets a mystery scarf sent to them, which will be, I'm sure, nice. And then first place will get a mystery kit sent to them. This will be probably halfway through this year, maybe a little later, but it's because we've got a lot of people to get through. But yeah, as long as you're top two, you're within it. So best of luck, Deke, and I'll let Jonesy take it away, mate.
I don't think I have to worry about getting top two.
So yeah, as you know, as I said, this is extremely difficult, and I think our top score at the moment is on about 5 or 6, right?
Yes,
So
something like that, yeah.
it's not easy. So the first question we've got for you: what is the longest serving rare card in your gallery? So what's your longest held rare card in your gallery?
Wow, this is good. It was Ranko Veselinovic before I sold him, because I did look at that previously, but I don't have him anymore. Oh man, the longest serving.
This is according to the data, so if it is wrong,
Vandevort?
correct.
Hey!
No way. That was pure luck, I'm gonna be honest.
Very humble.
Okay, that was very good. Okay, so I don't know how many people have got the first one right. I don't think many people actually have the first one right.
There we
So
go.
I'd say it's a good start, solid start. So your next question is, what is the highest valued card by floor price in your gallery? It's quite surprising.
Boy, I haven't. Highest value. Is it Bazunu?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's got too.
Wow!
And it's by a long way as well. It's like,
Is it?
like £250 more than your next.
Wow.
expenses.
That doesn't say a lot about my gallery, does it?
From Deke, a jack of all trades here. Not just a pretty face, mate, so far. Well done.
I can still get 2 for 10.
That is just go 10. It's true. But question number 3: what percentage of your lineups earn a reward?
Boy, let's go with 11.
I'll give you it's 10.58, so closest to 11.
No way.
Jeez, what?
I knew it was around 10 because I was around like 18 and I just straight down the. So,
Wow.
a little luck there. Wow.
Did you get more?
Yeah.
Oh, she's doing really well. I'm actually really surprised. No one's
These
ever
questions
thought
aren't
about.
difficult enough, Jonesy. I'm very disappointed in you.
I thought they were.
They are.
Okay, so
That was a guess.
question number 4: which player has given your gallery the highest gaming yield, which is the most money one on the platform?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. Just rewards in my head. So Vanderbort's been around the longest, but I think Ricky Pooch.
It's not. It's a player that's not currently in your gallery.
Okay.
So I think you actually mentioned him before, Ranko Veselinovic.
Veselinovic, yeah. He was my, that's hilarious. He was my, whenever you could just use anyone in All-Star Rare, he was just my farmer. That's great.
I think it was like 13, 14 threshold. He brought in like a lot of money
That's
to the gallery.
amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great.
One wrong. But we move on to question 5. Three right, 1 wrong so far. Is a very good score. So, as we mentioned before, Van der Voort has won the most cards for your gallery. Well, who's won the second most?
Ricky Pooch.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. It's Ricky Pooch.
Oh, God.
I love Ricky Pooch.
Okay, so that's 4 out of 5. He's doing really well. Now this is where it's going to get silly difficult. Without looking at SorareDeke, I need you to tell me your current Cat 240 lineup for this weekend. And I need everyone correct for the point.
Oh boy. Wow. So I built lineups like maybe an hour before this week because I just had stuff going on. So boy,
Start with the goalkeeper, we'll go in order. To make it more difficult.
Goalkeeper.
I think I've done goalie first. I've had to double check that actually.
Did I play the Decaxis stack for goalkeeper defense? So Montez at defense and
I don't need the names.
I can't even think of his name. I don't know the rest of the team. Did I play Esmir? And I don't know the other one, so I'll pass. That's all I got.
You were almost there. You did play the Necaxa goalie and defender stack of Montez and Unsane. You played Esmir, I'm going to butcher this, Bajrak Tarovic.
Yeah, sounds
Okay. You played Milos Kerkez, because it's Burnley versus Bournemouth this weekend, and Facundo Torres.
Yeah, I never would have got
I've got you on one finally.
that. Yeah. That's hilarious, and I just said that yesterday, so you think I would be able to give that one.
Yeah, obviously we all set a lot of lineups. I probably can't tell you my captive 40 lineup. I thought it was a good question to ask. So, your question 7 is, how many total card awards have you won on Sorare? Now, I did do this late last night. I think it was about 2 in the morning when I did this quiz, so I don't think it's changed.
Oh boy. So I did start at the limited, so there were a decent amount of limiteds to start, and then I did transition to rare. 325, I don't know.
325. Let me double check. I need to double check. Like I said, this late last night. So it says the total rewards won on your account is 154.
Okay. I have no idea.
But normally when somebody says someone like a score way away from where it's supposed to be, I have to double check.
No, I just didn't know.
That's fair enough. So this is where you might get to a bit more Philly for you. You're a big Philly fan. So in your 2023 Philadelphia collection, which player has the highest L5?
It's L5. L5, so that'd be this season as well. Wagner has been doing very well. L5. Carranza? William Carranza?
No, it's Jack McGlynn.
Jack McGlynn, no. Should have known that. Jackie boy.
And then sticking with the Philadelphia collection, which player in your Philadelphia 2023 collection has an L5 and L15 of 0? There is only one.
There's only one. Wow. Would it be Pierre?
Yeah, that's right. Nelson Pierre. Yep.
Wow. He's loaned out to an uncovered. Okay.
Probably your most difficult question. So, in limited, your Go Ahead Eagles collection is your second highest rated limited collection. But what is their current collection score?
It's my second, you said.
Yeah, I believe you have somebody at 900 and something to give you a little bit of a
I
clap.
have Magdeburg at 1, so I know they're 5%. So I think they're 4%. So
The exact points that they've got.
let's put an exact. Okay. I'm gonna go with. They're my second best. I'm gonna go with 550.
You undersold yourself. They're 750 points.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't think you've done
What am
badly
I
there.
doing?
Well, let's have a look. So, just count it up quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 10, I think it is. That's not bad at all. I think the winner is 5 or 6, so you might be joining top or second. You got the leaderboard there, Kat?
I don't have it on me at the moment, no.
Oh, okay. We'll get it on screen for everybody.
Yep, it'll be on screen, don't worry about that.
Yeah, that was a good effort. I thought you were going to
That
go
was fun.
on
That
9
was a
or
lot
10.
of fun. I like that.
There we go. So nice one, Jonesy, for that, mate. Well done again. So what we can do, because we'll start to conclude this all now, because I'm sure you got other better things to do than to chat to me and Jonesy. The way we sort of end things here on the channel, on the podcast, we get a guest to give us a question. So I've got a question for you. I'll get your question in a minute for next week's guest. And this one is from Harry Trades, which was our previous guest, okay? Nice. So he says, in your opinion, who is the best number 9 in history?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, thanks, Harry.
Wow. It's the best number 9 in history. Probably gonna get roasted for this one.
Watch him say
regardless of what I
Dempsey.
answer.
The title of the episode.
Boy, I guess I would go with the original Ronaldo, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of, I don't know. That's the guy that I think is just, I don't know. If I'm running through names, he's the one that first popped in my head. So.
Well, there we go. So yeah, lovely, good answer, good question.
What
And
would you guys both go with?
yeah,
I think around
I'd
R9.
say
Yeah.
R9 as well. Has to be, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, to conclude it all now, mate, we'll get your question to next week's guest, and that is what?
Okay, my question is, what club do you currently support because of Sorare? Whether it's you have players or something like that.
Love that question. Well, I think that's everything. Jonesy, unless you've got any last second questions, mate, you want to ask?
Yeah, my last question I've asked for every guest so far, and I forgot to ask it before, was if there's one player from your gallery that you think everybody should own, who would it be?
Ricky Pooch, easy.
Yeah, I thought it would be too.
He's the best. He's the best.
Ricky Bouge. And well, on that note, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And also rate us 5-star, please, on Spotify. You see everyone's Twitter there, Sorare Jonesy, at SorareDeke, and at Capital Sorare. And that has been all around Sorare. Thank you so much, Deke, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. See ya. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me, boys.